You are now live.
Thank you, Sarah.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, taking a look at the agenda. Can we have an approval of the minutes as circulated? And I've got problems with my no, I don't want to do that.
Okay, so I saw John move. Did we have a seconder? And I'm just going to pick
Connie's seconding it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And because I can't figure out the technology of having the agenda up here and the Zoom call, I don't have the agenda in front of me. And I should have had you do a printed copy for me, Jennifer. My printer's not working here, so.
Okay, that's
next agenda item, whatever it is.
Okay, so the next agenda item is just the Clearview Library reports, Diane.
Okay. Okay.
So the first one is business arising out of last month's meeting. Let me just, I do have a printed copy, so I'll get that. All right, so our budget has been submitted to the Township Treasurer as it was approved by the board, and our scheduled presentation is Monday, November 30th at 12:15 p.m. So I have the budget presentation on my laptop, and I will be sharing that with council.
Via Zoom.
Via Zoom, we'll be Zooming, and you're certainly, those of you who are not on council are certainly invited.
Okay.
Your worship, that is going to be live streamed, isn't it?
Yes, and I would hope that
Okay.
Sarah will be able to help us with that because she has great luck with this.
All right, so that's great. You can certainly join in there. There aren't, as you know, there aren't a lot of changes from what we had put into 2020.
Right.
We're looking at some adjustments because there are things we have no control over, which are increases in hydro and that sort of thing. But it's it's what we're proposing is certainly not vastly different from what we had anticipated 2020 was going to look like. It has looked like something else in reality, but that's another story. I have got in touch with Grant Advance Solutions, and we have canceled our contract with their software.
Okay.
If at some time in the future, if either the municipality or the board wish to get back and use it again, that's certainly open to possibility. I have applied for the Ontario Trillium Foundation grant. Mary isn't on the call today, I see, although I didn't hear from her, but she had got us in touch with a company that does sound systems. So they actually came and talked, because I mean, if we were going to put a sound system in someplace, it would be the community hall. They have made a presentation to Terry Vachon, who is the general manager for Parks, Culture, and Recreation. And they're going to get a proposal into him. But when I reviewed the requirements of the Resilient Communities Fund, it's really about how can we more effectively do our programs in the time of COVID. And it didn't really fit into their criteria, Madam Chair. I think I've talked to you about this before. So that was not included in our application. However, Terry and I both feel that it would be a worthwhile expenditure, and based on the kinds of numbers that come back to us, we are going to talk about a joint project potentially for 2022. So if the numbers are good, you'll hear me talking about that when we discuss the budget for the year after next year. Okay, so we've drafted up a letter for the consultants for the Simcoe County service review. My understanding, Your Worship, is that they have not been appointed yet.
I do not know. That's news to me, actually, Jen.
Okay, so the last time I was talking with the county library CEO, she said that they hadn't been appointed yet. So,
as a member of county council, I don't get information from the county cooperative in any way. I'm not a member of.
No, but I don't think the service review is specific just to the county cooperative.
Okay, there is a service review going on for sure.
Yeah. So as
Again,
soon
I'm also, further, Jen, I'm also not on that committee either, of which I had actually applied to be on the committee and was denied, and I'm disappointed in that. So I have paid much attention to the service review, and
okay.
nothing has come to my desk yet. Thank you.
Okay. I'm certainly staying on top of that. We do have the letter ready, Madam Chair, for your signature. We just have to get a name of a company and an address to send it to, and then that will go off. We had talked about the library's Instagram account number, so I have included it in the statistics for October, and I can tell you that currently we have 173 followers. We're following 9 libraries, and we follow the Clearview Youth Center, and I will make sure that those statistics are included in all future statistical reports. Our fundraiser thermometer, thank you very much, Connie. It is, we've posted it everywhere, including on the township's website. And we have it stored in the library, and we will bring it out again when we get a number more of donations, and take another photograph and post it again. So we're really hoping that this helps generate some more income into the fundraising account.
Okay.
The staff recognition, so we have 4 staff members who are going to be recognized by Your Worship. And so a little closer to the end of the year, Your Worship, you and I can work out how we're going to do that. 2 of the staff are part-timers and work kind of weird hours, but we'll figure something out that's both physical distance, but still, you know, makes them feel that they're special, and indeed they are. And the thank you letter to
Jennifer, that you're to be congratulated, and this board should recognize you in the fact that you are light years ahead of other departments here at Clearview Township by already being prepared to deliver your staff recognitions. And so I think that's great to see. Good job.
Okay. Thank you, Your Worship.
Jennifer,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt your flow. Can you take some pictures and we could post those on social media too if the people are okay to do that?
When we actually do the presentation, we'll make sure that pictures are taken.
Awesome.
We may have to take 3 pictures and amalgamate them. But yeah, we'll get something up there. We'll put it on social media. We'll also send it out to all of you. That's one of my many cats. I'm still in the process of drafting a letter of thanks to our township CAO and to our former director of finance regarding the building project, because we know that without their assistance, we wouldn't be in the building we're in today. In fact, I just got off the phone with Edward about 3 hours ago. So, and he was asking me stuff he should have been asking the township treasurer, but anyways, it was good to hear from him, and he's doing well. So as soon as, I'm still working on that, Madam Chair, and when I get a little further progressed in that draft, I'll send it off to you to have a look at and give me your input. The next report is the CEO's report for this meeting. So far, we have actually had to close the Stainer branch once because it had met capacity. Mm-hmm. We have had a number of people approach me to request exemptions to a number of the restrictions we have on use. We've denied them all except for proctored exam that was to take place in February, which we were hoping was far enough out. I did stipulating that the proctored exam could not be more than 2 hours. It would have to be on their laptop with all their software that they require, which is one of the softwares they require is called Lockdown, so that they know they're not cheating. And they had to speak to their college to come up with an alternate, because of course there is no guarantee anything could happen. We could be back to curbside at some point. We hope not, but I thought, you know, I'm not going to book this and then at the last minute she can't write her exam. She got in touch with her college and they have decided that she will write it from home.
Okay.
So, and certainly, and that was for February. Usually we're doing proctoring exams in December. So I think the signs are that most colleges and universities are getting away from proctored exams, at least for the current semester. But I have denied requests for exemptions for tutoring, and I've denied requests for exemptions for someone who wanted their child to be assessed. We've asked them to contact local churches if possible, because many of them have their halls. I'm not sure they're going to make them available, but that was an option. Or even the youth center, because as I say, one of these requests was an exemption because they wanted their child assessed, and the assessor did not feel comfortable doing it in a school. At any rate, I really feel that if we start giving exemptions, oh, Mary's here, great, that will never, I don't know, it will be hard to say yes to some and no to others. And management certainly can do that. Michelle and I can do that, but we're just two people, and there's 3 branches, and we're open 126 hours. So what it would end up being is that someone would be asking for an exemption when we couldn't be contacted, and we'd be relying on circulation staff to, try to weigh the pros and cons and whether they should and shouldn't. I think that's too much pressure to put on them. And I also think we need to, have a level playing board. This is what we're doing for everyone's safety and going forward in that regard. Some people do not like the 1 hour time limit. That is pretty standard across Southern Ontario. Collingwood's time limit is half an hour. There are libraries that are still only doing curbside. So we're certainly within the norm. And we're not going to be here forever. It's not like, you're never going to be able to come in and use the service the way I need to get a blind. So that's what's happening. But we haven't had any closures at New Lowell or Creemore. They've been fine so far. But in all 3 branches, we've come close on numerous occasions. Bonfield has come and rephotographed everything that they worked on as a result of the photographs that you submitted, Bob, and I'm waiting for their report back to me. I will let you know what their findings are. They think they've fixed everything, and we'll find out if they have. The old Stainer branch, I believe that the expiration for the appeal of the bylaw is the end of November 25th. So after that, I will get in touch with our service providers such as EPCOR and Enbridge to tell them that after December 17th, we are no longer the owners of the building and they should cancel our accounts. But I don't want to do that before because, well, we hope there won't be an appeal, but you never know. Connie, you and Diane had come and decided what art we would hang and where it would be hung. Are you any further along on getting the materials for hanging, or should I just go ahead and get that done? People are starting to ask why there's Post-it notes on the walls.
Yeah, I would just go ahead and get it done. I haven't heard back from Renee yet, but I will get in touch with him as soon as I can. I'm hoping that my email didn't go to junk or something, but maybe I should I'll follow it up, Jen. I'm sorry that I have.
No, that's okay. That's fine. Okay. I just don't want it lost in the great scheme of things.
No, I won't.
Okay. Because I'm likely to do that, but if I give it back to you, maybe it won't happen.
Oh, thanks.
In terms of the strategic plan review, our goal 1 is transition to the new Stainer branch. Well, we've done that. We're going to look, the board had decided to look at the open hours in June of 2021 for all branches. And Kimberly is with us now to see if we need to change any times, etc. So I'll be bringing a report to the June meeting, unless earlier than that you want to put it off, depending on where we are in terms of recovering from COVID. If we're still dealing with some of the situations we're dealing with now, you may feel that you don't have enough input from the public into what normal time should be. Right now, the only request we've had from the public is to restore Tuesday hours, which I would love to do, but I don't have the staffing for it. In terms of the budget, because we've only got so much money for staff, and must be a cloud out. That we've tried to increase staffing on the days we are open so that we can deal with how many people are coming in. Are they filling out the self-assessments and that sort of thing? That's a little more time consuming. We have had our teen librarian and our youth coordinator meet to discuss potential joint programming in 2021. Well, our budget is set, so we're not in a position to offer up monies for programs, but there are still a lot of things that we could do together. We certainly had the coordinator participate in one of our teen Zoom calls to talk about what the youth center does and what services they could offer our group. So that kind of participation the only cost is limited staff time. So that's not an issue. And certainly the more we work together, the more we can work together in the following years. Okay, one of the exciting things is the Ontario Provincial Park System has got in touch with me and offered to allow us to circulate day use vehicle permits. So starting in 2021, all branches will be doing that. Those of you who have been on the board for a while know that we have traditionally had sumac circulations, which included free use of a number of art galleries and museums in the county being circulated through the libraries. And now we're going to be able to offer this. Prior to 2021, it was only being offered through a limited number of public libraries. But I think because maybe public use of day use of parks went down a bit, they're trying to encourage more people. And this is one way to do it.
Is this going to be available immediately?
They told me January 2021.
Perfect. That's great news.
I think it's fantastic because we have so many provincial parks around us and even one in Clearview. Yeah. Although, let's get people into them. We certainly want them outdoors and being active and physically distancing, So this is a good way to do it. I think it's a great idea.
Why don't you slide that by communications to get them to do a nice press release for January when that comes out.
Yeah.
Your free day passes?
Put something on the website, on your website, on our website, etc.
Okay.
Yep, I'll do that. That's a great idea. We've currently in Stainer finished doing the signage for the ends of the aisle shelving. But I think in 2021, we need to move forward on having some proper signage in the new Stainer branch, which is great. And we would like to incorporate our logo into that and the colors that were part of the logo in terms of, the teen should be this color, that sort of thing. So that's something that in the spring, we're going to start working on. Should be sufficient, well, depending on how much they want to gouge us for signs, we should have enough money in the budget to cover that. And it would move us a little further along in our branding process. I don't have anything at this time to report on accessibility. In terms of organizational review and update, all the job descriptions have been sent out to employees for comment with a date back to us, I believe, close to the end of December. So we've given them lots of time to look it over, and then that will be amalgamated together, and a revised job description for each position will be part of a report to you sometime in the spring for you to review. Recognizing that major changes may result in some financial changes because they'll have a pay equity impact. Space development and modernization is goal number 4. We have been looking at new trends in public libraries, as we always are. We had decided to eliminate fines for 2020, and this was not a permanent elimination of fines was not considered in the 2021 budget considerations. And I think that was a good idea because we have seen our revenue go down. I know other departments have had a lot more revenue loss than we have in 2020, but I think it's very hard to go to council and say, oh, we want this much funding, but we're going to remove this revenue stream without coming up with an alternative.
Yeah.
And this may be something that we can more successfully argue in a year when, you know, the rest of our revenue streams are a little more normal or what they were. But I really don't see a big recovery in our other revenue streams coming until mid to late 2021. I mean, not that they won't start coming in, but it's not the same world that we started this year in.
Yeah.
So but you do need to seriously think, because this is a real trend in libraries, about the possibility of eliminating fines. There are other ways to induce people to return material. We're currently trialing Canopy, which is a streaming service. You can watch movies, hear music, TV shows. It's very popular and some libraries have it. It's a pay-per-view kind of streaming service, so that every time somebody accesses a certain kind of service, there is a specific cost. So most libraries only let you have maybe 3 to 4 of these items a month. And it would be coming through the Simcoe County Library Cooperative, because of course, when they do it for all the county, they can get much better pricing than we could do individually. And whether or not we can get it, since the County Library Cooperative's budget for 2021 is already set, will depend on what kind of numbers we're looking at. But we are trialing that at the moment. And,
Jennifer,
yeah.
sorry, is that on the website? Like, is that a?
No, that's not for the public to trial. That's staff.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why you haven't seen that, or we have it all over the place. And so that's decision is coming. And the only other goal is staff, board, and volunteer development. Again, I've talked about the mayor and I getting together to hand out the recognition awards to the 4 staff who have that coming up. We will send out the gift cards. The chair and I will do that in early December. We'll purchase them and send them out so that staff have them well in hand before Christmas. And as soon as I get some definitive information on the Ontario Library Association's 2021 conference, which normally a number of us would be going down to, but it's going to be virtual this year, I will get it out to all the board members. Yeah. Because the big OLA Super Conference, which if any of you have gone, is wonderful. But the big cost for it, of course, is accommodation. And we don't have to deal with that this year. So first off, because it's virtual, I know for a fact that the registration fees are going to be even less this year. And secondly, because we don't have to worry about meals or accommodation, we should have some more money in there to deal with. And so I should be able to have more staff attend, even if it's only for 1 day or a half day. And I would think that more board members will be able to attend.
Yeah.
So I think that's very good news. But they've been really, I guess, well, they're down to a 3-day week at the OLA office. So that may be one of the reasons why we're not getting the information as quickly. By, you know, last year we would have already registered by this point, and now we don't even know what the topics are going to be or what the costs are going to be. Right. The next report is our monthly statistical report, and if our programs of our course are down because they're all virtual. They will be going up, I hope, significantly next month, because our children's librarian has been in touch with the schools, and she is going to be creating a video presentation to them. Normally she goes into the schools and deals with about 1,000 kids a month. And most of the teachers have asked to be able to have their kids participate in this. So the figures should be going up for November. You should see.
Pam, did you want to add something?
Yeah.
Sorry, Jennifer, I keep interrupting you.
That's okay.
So would that be like the elementary schools in the area?
Yeah.
And like, is there a specific grade, or is it all grades, or?
No, she doesn't do all grades. She really does kindergarten, pre-K to grade 1, depending on the school. Okay, because some of them have mixed grades.
Right.
So because she's the children's librarian. She only goes up to a certain age group. Our teen librarian actually also does mostly tween stuff.
Yeah, I just if is it Janice who's doing the
Yes, Janice is our
Library.
children's librarian.
Yeah, okay. So just if she does programming with grade 7 and 8, just I guess remember that they're at the high school as well, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that they would be interested in any programming. So that'd
Okay,
be great.
but this what she's been doing in the schools has branched out of when Junior K came along and took all our library story time kits.
Mhm.
So we thought, okay, you can't come into the library because you're at school, but we can come into the school and give you the same program. And the teacher librarians and kindergarten teachers love it.
Yeah.
So I didn't want them to lose that when, you know, they're still doing some things virtually. And certainly we can't have her going into all the classes at this time, but she can do it virtually. So
Okay,
there.
sounds good.
yeah, they've all signed on for that. I would say that if you look at our wireless stats, which are over 1,000, that's higher than they were last year at this time. So, well, Tuesdays were not open to the public, but when I got in this morning, someone drove up behind me and I thought, oh, doesn't she know we're open? And then I saw her in her car open up her laptop. So they don't care whether we're open or not, they're using our wireless. And our memberships were up this year over last. Okay. Our bank account report, it is pretty healthy. We've got over $100,000 in the library, Standard Library Building Project account. And you'll see a difference in our Clearview Public Library account of about $25,000 because we received the pay equity and operating grant from the province and then have to pay it out to the township. The province will not pay the municipality that grant directly. And the reason for that is I think they don't trust some municipalities to actually spend the grant on their libraries. So it is a condition of the Public Libraries Act that a library have its own separate account and not have things channeled through the province. So you'll see that there. Also, Bob, you were asking at the last minute if we'd received the RBC volunteer recognition donation, and we have.
Good.
So that's reflected in those numbers.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, that's all that I had in the agenda other than new business. So.
Okay. Is there anybody who would like to bring forward any new business? No?
This could be a short meeting.
Geez,
guess.
yes,
Brilliant.
record.
The shortest meeting ever.
I
Yeah.
think one of the problems is that because of the restrictions of COVID, there isn't perhaps as much opportunity to think about things we could be doing. I've the last few meetings have been a little bit restricted from the board's point of view that our participation hasn't. We aren't in a position really to participate very much in the normal course of the board's actions. So.
Well, you can get me anytime if you've got something you want to discuss or consider or things of that nature. And I would say that if you were looking at more things at the board level, considering some of the staffing constraints we have right now, your staff might have difficulty managing much more than they're doing right now. Keep in mind that we're still providing curbside service and we still have some 1 day of closure, but we're still open a lot. A lot of if you look up at the Beach Public Library, they're only open 10 to 6 for most of the week. That's not many hours. When you look at the Stainer branch, we're open from 10 to 9, 3 days a week plus our Saturday hours. I don't know how anybody is supposed to access a library from 10 to 6 if you work.
Yeah.
It's probably great for seniors or someone but by the time you get home from work, how do you get into the library?
Yeah.
So I think what we're doing is better in that regard. But if any of you have anything you want to talk to me about or things you think we should pursue, We can always have an additional meeting if the chair is willing to announce that. And, you know, my staff reach me at home at 11 o'clock at night. I don't see why you shouldn't, you know. So, okay, Bob, thank you. Thank you for that. But I am available. I mean, I was in the library working on Sunday, like, you know, my only constraints are the vast number of animals I have around the house. But other than that, I'm open to help you do whatever you think the board should be doing.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Mayor Measures?
Yes, thank you. Jennifer or Michelle, I'm just wondering, now that you've been into the Stainer branch for some months now, can I ask, have you noticed or have you observed persons using the Wi-Fi wirelessly from outside the building? Or have you had anybody ask you about that? Have you,
No.
Because I tell you why I'm interested in that is that I've noticed something that's happened just in the last 2 months here. I'm working here at the administration center, and outside my window, I observe people often coming up here with their cars or sitting on this little bench using the Wi-Fi here at this building. And so I just wondered if there was a regular user group doing that also at the new branch, and also have we enhanced the network abilities there to do that outside, or is it just the internal system?
Okay, I can answer that, and that is happening at all 3 branches.
Sure.
But it is not a new thing. We've found that for a long time, and occasionally it freaks staff out coming out of the new Lowell branch when they're closing and there's cars but you know, and I didn't tell you about this. Maybe I have. Stop me if you've heard it before. So at the old Stainer branch, my staff were a little concerned about one guy sitting right outside of the branch in his car, and he'd been there for quite a while, but he was using our Wi-Fi. It turns out he was also masturbating. So
Oh, well then.
I don't know why you would do that on the street. But yeah, so
There's things that library have to deal with. So,
and so you can use at any of the 3 libraries outside the library, you can still connect to the Wi-Fi. Obviously,
I'm not aware of how do we actually enhance the network ability to do that in any facility, or we simply just using the internal network?
It's the I think at all 3 branches, it's really pretty good. If you're in the parking lot or sitting on the lawn, for the branches that have a lawn, you can still connect to the Wi-Fi. One of the requirements is that you log in and that's a county requirement. So people need to have a library card to be able to access. Yeah. But obviously they happen because as I say this morning when I came in, there was a woman pulled up behind me and sat in her car with her laptop using our Wi-Fi, which is fine.
The reason I ask is that you know that the township some years ago invested in outdoor Wi-Fi services available at the tourism office, and it's surprising to me any morning or evening or late hour I drive by here that there's always people there. And so even though that tourism office has been completely shuttered for pressing on 10 months, it's still active. And so I don't believe we did that installation at the new complex there with the arena and so on. And I'm not sure if it wouldn't be something that we should look at, given the number of parents that are sitting outside at hockey games because they're not allowed to go inside, whether we should consider that, updating that service between.
I'm not sure, Your Worship, what's going on in the arena side. Okay. I think we're still using the original Rogers connection. You'd have to talk to Steve about that.
Yeah.
But of course, ours is provided through. I mean, we paid big bucks to get that in there. So we have fiber optic coming in, and they put up a number of transponders or whatever the technical term in the building, so that anywhere in the building you can pick up really good Wi-Fi reception. There's no blockage because it's too far. And it's obviously doing well, as Michelle has said in the comments. We've got really good umbrella Wi-Fi around the Stainer branch. So I think that's something that the rest of the facility needs to look at. Now, at some point, when we're all reopened, it won't be such a big deal, because people, when they can come in, they'll drop their kids off at practice and bring the other ones over to the library. But because of all that to do with, you have to be fully dressed outside and you can't come into the lobby, that's not happening so much, but it will. But it's important that we get really good Wi-Fi throughout that entire complex.
Yeah. So the second part of my message here is that Terry did meet with that same company that you mentioned earlier about doing whether a PA system or something in the community center space. I met with them very briefly right after that meeting, and we discussed quickly that it's not just public address audio services that needs there. It's video services, much like we're using right now. So he was going to communicate with them whether they could do some type of camera system, or maybe a monitor or something, or projector with a camera. Because then there could be programs that are then delivered through technology like this, not just a simple PA address system. So anyway, I know he went and met with them and changed that application a little bit just to accommodate that. So
yeah, and I think that would be a real boom for the municipality if that was put in there. And I think if that goes forward, of course, depending on the pricing, that it, since we're allowed to use that room, it would not be a bad thing for the library to participate in that. And I really think both Terry and I have to play nicely together, right? Well, because, you scratch my back, I'll scratch.
Yeah, for sure. Otherwise, it becomes an arm wrestling competition.
Yeah, and I'm not going to win that. So.
Terry would lose, for sure. Okay, guys, thank you.
All right, great.
Okay.
My money's on Jennifer.
I could win if I sat on him, just by virtue of my bigger weight. But
yeah.
Well, if there's nothing else, Madam Chair, then the next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, December 15th. I'm assuming it will still be virtual.
Yeah, I presume so.
I will certainly let everyone know if it's not.
Right.
And I guess that moves us to adjournment, Madam Chair.
Okay. I did attend, but before we do close, the trustee council meeting on Saturday by Zoom. And there wasn't the focus of it was mostly on strategic plans and how, if you have one in place, how they could be adjusted in this time. I'm not sure how much of it, we already have sort of paused some of those goals, which is one of the coping mechanisms that they suggest of our 5 goals. Some of them we just can't do during COVID. And everybody else shared what's happening during COVID with their library. So it was interesting. Nice not to have to drive. Yeah.
I saw on Twitter, and I can't find it, but I was pretty sure it was on tonight on the agenda with Steve Paikin. He's talking to 2 librarians, and they're talking about how libraries are a lot more than just books. So hopefully it's on tonight, and I wasn't mistaken when I saw it on Twitter, because I'm going to look for it. But I'm hoping other people do. It's a TVO. It's a TVO production. Steve Paikin, called The Agenda.
Okay, thanks.
I think it's pretty late at night, but I
8 o'clock.
Pardon?
8 o'clock in the evening.
There you go. Not too late.
Even if it's already run, they have access to it online through their archives. So you can go online and check out the old programs.
There you go. So it was either yesterday or it's today, but it's recently that he's done that. So
good. Thanks, Connie.
There you go. You're welcome.
Right. I guess then we'll welcome a motion to adjourn if nobody else wants to bring anything else up. Okay, Bob?
So move.
Okay. And okay, see everybody next month. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.